Hey y'all, welcome back to the Fevolution podcast. I'm your host, Erica Marie, and this week we're going to talk about one of the biggest lies that founders tell themselves. And before y'all go getting all defensive on me, all right, just hear me out, okay? The lie sounds something like this. I'm just tired because it's been a busy season. This is a busy period for me. Sound familiar, right? We have all said it. Let's be for real. I've said it. You've said it. Everybody said it at this point. We might as well be on Oprah. You get a busy season and you get a busy season and you get a busy season. Everybody gets a busy season. And then the crowd goes wild, right? We're excited. We're ready for burnout. All right. No, no. Another one, my personal favorite. Oh, this is just a learning curve. Once they get in the groove of things, it's gonna be cool, right? We just got to get through this. We just got to get through this launch, tax season, this client project, this customer's order, whatever, this quarter, it don't even matter what it is, right? Everything's going to calm down once we get through this. Everything going to be running smoothly. But let me ask you something. How many seasons are we actually talking about when we say that? Because eventually it stops being a season and starts becoming the operating model. Think about it. All right. If you've been saying just one more for 2 years, was it really just one more season, right? Or did exhaustion become part of the business plan? Because that's the part that nobody really talks about for real, right? Like a lot of us are out here calling something temporary, just one more launch, just get through this, just get through that, and everything be cool, right? But we've been living inside that temporary thing for years, not weeks, not months, years. And the reason we don't question it is because the work is getting done, right? Our clients and customers, they getting served. Our deadlines, they get met. Our business is moving. Money's coming in, so it's got to be working, right? Nah, wrong. Okay, because the question isn't whether the business is moving, okay? The question is what the business is using to stay in motion. And I know y'all asses over there are like, what? Make it make sense. I'm about to. Y'all already know I'm about to. All right. Because this is where a lot of y'all getting caught. All right. Because if the answer is your sleep, your recovery, your memory, your nervous system, your ability to push through, your willingness to sacrifice just one more weekend, one more evening, one more vacation, then your business has a problem and not the good kinds. The problem is that your body became part of its infrastructure. It's what it needs to operate. Okay. Your brain is the one that is running the entire operation. So let me put it like this. Y'all already know. I'm about to go deep for you. Okay. Imagine you in that dream home, the one where you had that pool built last week, right? The one that has windows and doors. Yeah, you already know. You already know. You're in that one. The pool got built. You know how it got built, how exhausting it was, but hey, it's built, right? And then a storm hits and everybody loses power. But you got a generator, a backup generator, right? You good. Makes sense. You was prepared. You knew that hurricane was coming. We in Georgia. Well, I am. I don't know about you. But you knew that hurricane was coming. You had your generator on deck ready to go. Lights go out. Boom. Hook up the generator. Power comes back, right? Makes sense. That's what generators are for. They are for emergency situations, temporary support until the main power comes back on, right? So it keeps everything on until the electrical systems get fixed or whatever it is, the power lines, whatever went down, right? Cool, no problem. Now, imagine just for a moment that nobody ever decides to fix the electrical system, because everyone's running on generators anyway. So the generator just stays there day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. The lights are still on. You're still able to function. Everybody still technically has power, right? But common sense tells you that something ain't right, because backup generators are just that. They're backups. They are temporary. They are not designed to power an entire home, in this case, your dream home, right? Forever. They're not. Eventually they overheat. Eventually they wear down. Eventually they struggle under the weight of a job that they were never supposed to carry long term. And they either need to be replaced frequently, right? That becomes expensive. Or the actual problem needs to get fixed. The actual power lines and the electrical systems need to come back online so your generator, your backup one, can rest. It's been working hard. It needs a break. So let's fix the actual problem. Now think about it, right? The backup generator was temporary. Just like when you started your business, it was temporary that everything had to go through you. When you first started hiring, it was temporary that it still had to go through you. But at some point, that temporary situation became permanent. And that is exactly what some of y'all are doing with your body when it comes to your business, because your business has a gap and you cover it with your body. The business is short on capacity, so you stretch yourself to make it work. The business needs another decision, so you stay available. Work's picking up, so now the business needs more output. So you sacrifice your recovery, a weekend here, an evening there, a vacation here, right? The business needs more support, so you give it more of your time, as if you wasn't already giving it enough. But then it needs more energy, so you give it your whole body. You put everything you have into your business. And I am not saying that that is a bad thing when you do it temporarily. But it's also what leads to burnout when that temporary becomes permanent or all the time, right? And because technically your business is still running, you call it success. But you were using your backup generator, your body. Okay? So you became the emergency power for your business. Now listen, I'm not saying there aren't seasons where you do actually have to push through. Okay. Life happens, business happens, emergencies happen. I'm not pretending they don't. That's not what the hell I do. Okay. But the backup plan was never supposed to become the permanent operating system, because your body can survive a season, but it was never supposed to become the business model. Think about it. There are 4 seasons in 1 year. Well, I guess depending on where you are, but technically there's 4 seasons, right? You got winter, spring, summer, fall. That's 4 seasons in 1 year. So if it's a season, technically it should only be lasting about a quarter, right? 3 months. But it's been years. And it was never supposed to stay this way. Common sense, okay? So let me ask you a question, right? If somebody told you, a professional, right? They're in an office and they told you that they have been using a backup generator for the last 3 years. Imagine you go to doctors and they say that. Let's make it real, okay? Let's make it something where it's just like, what the hell? Hell no. Imagine you go to the doctors or the emergency room, right? Something happens, because shit happens. It's life. And you find out they've been running on a backup generator for 3 years. You gonna call that stable? Or you gonna be worried that that generator gonna fail while you're getting the most important test of your life? I say it'd be the second one, wouldn't you? You would probably be like, why didn't anyone fix the actual problem? Like, why have y'all been using a backup generator for 3 freaking years? Make it make sense. Exactly. That's the point. Okay. So why on God's green earth are we calling our businesses sustainable when they only work because we keep overriding ourselves? Why are we calling it support when recovery is the first thing that's sacrificed? Why are we calling it growth? Let's be for real. When exhaustion is doing most of the heavy lifting for us. And why are we calling it freedom if we can't be free and step away? Make it make sense. We are entrepreneurs. We are resilient individuals. We get shit done. No excuses, no delays, no debates. We do what we got to do because this is our livelihood. But it's killing us. It's burning us out. It's causing us to give up when things get to be too much. How many times? All right, let's be for real, okay? Because I know y'all can relate to this. How many times have you reached a point in your business since you started it where you were ready to throw in the towel because you couldn't take anymore? I'm not saying you threw in the towel. I said you were ready to. You felt like you wanted to because you couldn't take anymore. How many times? 2, 5, 10, depending on how long you've been in business, probably more than that. And that is because somewhere along the way, our bodies became the business model. So exhaustion became our existence. Do you see these billion-dollar CEOs being exhausted like we are? Hell nah. Because they hire people. They cycle through people like crazy. Think about it. How many times, I don't even like McDonald's, but I know a lot of people do. How many times you went to one McDonald's location and everything was good, right? But then you went to another one that was maybe even down the street and the service was ass. Fries was cold. The drink was flat. The burger was soggy. You don't even know why. I do not like McDonald's. I'm sorry. Okay. How many times have you had that experience, right? You went to one location and it was wonderful. You loved it. You went to another location and it was like the complete opposite. Your business goes through that same thing when your body is the business model. Because when you're at your best, when you finally get a break, when you can breathe, when you can relax, when you can bring yourself back to center, you start operating at your best and everything goes beautifully. It runs how it's supposed to. Shit gets done. Money gets made. But then you continue and you continue and you continue. And then you get to this point where it's too much. And the quality is diminishing. You might lose some customer or clients during that period, right? They might disappear. Because what was great in the beginning has slowly eroded over time because it was never meant to be sustained at that level. Your body was never meant to operate like that for your business long term. It's meant for the push. It's meant for the temporary. It's not meant for the permanent. Then you hire some help, get your capacity back, and things go smoothly. And then they erode again. Our business is like the McDonald's on Main Street. That's wonderful and awesome. Everybody goes there. Everybody loves it. But then you go over to North Street. I'm just making up names, by the way. You go over to North Street, which is only a couple blocks away because, you know, Main Street's packed and you don't feel like waiting in line because you're hungry and you want your food now. You go over there and it's ass. And now you're regretting all your life choices again. Like, I should just waited in the line. Your body goes through that cycle when your business goes through that cycle when your body is the business model. Because we are not built to be on 24/7. We are not built to give everything that we have to a business and it not give us anything back. How many times has your cup been empty as a business owner? And you had to sacrifice a lot to get where you are. And I am never, ever, ever, ever going to say that that is not what makes us unique, is our ability to get shit done. Our sacrifices are not in vain. When we pour everything we have into our business, that is not a bad thing unless you're doing it consistently. Sometimes you need to take a step back because if you don't sleep, think about it. Someone who stays up for 36 hours, the first 12 hours, they're cool. Maybe even 18, 20, whatever, right? They're cool. They're still sharp, no issues. But then they hit that period where their body knows that it needs to rest, but they're still going. So they banging shit out, right? But the quality dropped. And their genius turned into the ramblings of a mad person because their brain didn't get a chance to shut down. So now everything that made sense to them at 3 a.m., they're looking at it at 3 p.m. and they're like, what the fuck? What did I do? Okay. But I'm gonna take you back to the point, right? This is where FemFlow comes in. All right. Again, it is not just a money framework. Okay. It's a decision framework. It is a different way of doing everything if you want to be technical. All right. So instead of your body being the business model and your business profiting off of your exhaustion, start doing things the fem way. Start asking the tough questions. Start challenging what you thought was acceptable. Because you may not be punching someone else's clock right now. You're punching your own. Yes, metaphorically speaking, right? So, of course, in your mind, you rationalize that as, but this is my baby. This is mine. I'm building this. I own this. I have to take ownership over what I'm doing. And that can be a beautiful thing until it's not. And if you find yourself questioning your life choices, okay, wondering why the hell you decided you wanted to be a business owner because you reached your point. And you know you cycled through this a lot, right? It's time to do things differently. You can still give your all to your business, but with boundaries, but with protection that doesn't deplete you, right? That doesn't require you to burn out and question every choice you ever made in your life that led you to that exact moment where you couldn't take it anymore. There's a better way. All you gotta do is do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, right? So that being said, listen, I want y'all to take some time and I want y'all to really sit with yourselves and think about it. I asked some questions today, right? I asked the questions nobody really wants to ask. Now it's your job to answer them. Is this how you want to spend the rest of your life? Or are you still convincing yourself that you just need to hit a certain number in income and your life will be easier? If that's what you're doing, let me put it to you like this. Simplest thing I could ever say to you. Your money can grow without your protection growing with it. And when that happens, your income grew, but the weight you're carrying around, that grew too. So now it's heavier. More money, more problems, right? It doesn't have to be that way. So instead of asking, how long can I go this time before my next breakdown? How about you start asking, what would it cost me if I allowed myself to continue to get to this point? No matter what your cycle is, I want you to sit there and I want you to actually think about your cycle, okay? Is it a quarter, 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 6 weeks? How long is it between the first time you feel like you want to throw in the towel because you can't take anymore and the next time? How long? That's your cycle. But you got to break it somewhere. So instead of asking, how long can I keep going before I have to rest? Start asking yourself, how much rest do I need to stay my best? Yeah, I know it's an opposite question. Stop asking if you can push through and start asking if you should have to. Stop asking how much more can I carry and start asking, why the hell am I carrying this by myself? When you go to hire your next team member, make sure you don't just have the workflows and the SOPs. Make sure you have the decision framework. Make sure you know not only how it needs to be done, but the decisions that happen along the way. And systematize your decision making. That's what the hell I did with FemFlow. Again, it's a money framework, but it's really a decision one. There's sequencing your money, and then there's sequencing your decisions. How many decisions do you have to make to complete a task? Figure it out. Because if you don't know, your body is the business model. You're carrying it in your nervous system because your brain can't handle all the questions you got to answer at once. So slow down, take a breath, and stop letting your body become your business model. Because if your answer to every single problem that comes up is more of your time, your energy, your capacity, and your body, then your business isn't solving problems. It is consuming you. And eventually the bill won't come due. It might show up as burnout. It might show up as brain fog, right? Resentment, decision fatigue. Maybe it shows up as you waking up one day and realizing that you built a business that you don't even enjoy anymore. Oof, that one hurts. But regardless, it shows up because your capacity is not free. Matter of fact, write that down. Your capacity is not free. It comes with a cost. And that's exactly why self-care inside of FemFlow is not spa days. It's not bubble baths. It's not treating yourself because you earned it. It is capacity protection. Can you recover? Can you think clearly? Can you step away? Can you stop being the emergency generator for your own damn business? Because if the answer is no, then your business is still exposed. There's a gap. You need to figure out what the gap is and you need to fix it. You got to solve it at the root. Can't just keep putting a Band-Aid on something that clearly needs stitches to heal. All right? So ask yourself these questions. Take your FemFlow protection self-assessment. Get your FPI, okay? And once you figure out where your business is still using your body as a backup generator, then I want you to book your FemFit session. All right? Because you do not need to keep proving how much you can carry. You do not need a business. Well, let me put it this way. You need a business that doesn't require you to carry everything. All right? And next week, y'all already know. We gonna talk about why your revenue grew, but your options didn't. Because more money and more freedom, we already know, ain't always the same thing. So we gonna talk about it, okay? So make sure you follow the Femolution podcast. You turn on your notifications, and I'm gonna see y'all next week. All right? Bye.